I am here actually. Dr. Madhan Karky, who works with me, who used to work with me in Anna University. When I was working as assistant professor for 5 years in the university, we both shared the same cabin. So in the 4 years, one day I was reading a book, and she suddenly caught me, Madhan, what are you doing? This is the first time I'm seeing you reading a book in 4 years. Apart from my textbooks in my school and college, I have a list. I have a list of 13 books which I've read, like apart from those books. So a very bad reader, but I like stories a lot. Listening to my mother, father, and a lot of other people, my grandmother from my childhood. I like stories a lot. I watch a lot of movies from all over the world, and I started working in the film industry as a dialogue writer, and now working as a lyric writer and dialogue writer, listening to hundreds of stories every year. So, and that's interesting. So that's my background with stories. I used to use stories a lot for teaching in my university when I was teaching computer science. Explaining very hard concepts with stories was very easy. I was able to get the attention of the students. Now my 5-year-old child, like we do homework, I do homework with him, and explaining all the concepts with stories that he likes, like Raman or any regular stories that he watches, like with Chota Beam, explaining concepts like photosynthesis or thermodynamics with that to him. Like it's a lot of fun, and he really loves that, and he remembers it a lot. Stories, yeah. When in the industry, like when I write songs, like for a song situation, just to get me into the movie. The director comes and narrates me a story for nearly 2.5 to 3 hours. 3 hours of listening to the story to write a 4-minute song. So it's some stories are really interesting, very interesting to listen to. There are really good storytellers, can tell the difference between like which stories are really good and how the way they narrate it, and which stories like you're bored in the 5th minute and you have to wait for another 2 hours for it to finish. For you to write a song, and the song situation is the boy and girl meet and they fall in love, so you have to write a song. So for this, like I have to listen to 2 hours of stories, and it's very interesting to be here to get to know everyone's point of view about stories. I'll definitely be talking more about when we have a discussion. So that's my background with stories.
Madhan, but Kulkalaka Junkie and Narakataka Jupun சொல்ற லிரிக்கு கதை எதுக்கு?
அதுதான் நானும் கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கேன். ஆனா இப்போ வந்து அது மாதிரியான லிரிக்ஸ் வரது இல்ல இப்போ அது மாதிரி பண்றது போயிடுச்சு. That was one time, it was like a fan, like how just like fashion, they really wanted, so we were breaking our heads to find junk words. Like junk words are really tough for you to find it because all the junk words are being used. You can't, there is no, so actually there is no possibility to create a new junk word which is never being used in the film music anymore. So it's very tough period.
That's creativity at its peak, no?
Yeah, peak. True. Finding junk words.
Ilphones, silphons, gajacols, all sorts of words. Anyway, right. The other thing which I've always wondered is how often is it that you write the words and somebody tunes it for you, or do you invariably are you presented with not just the story but the outline of a tune also?
Yeah, tunes always given. Like I have 5 or 6 songs in my short career, like around 300 songs I've penned. 6 songs I penned the lyrics first, and the music composer tuned it later. So all the other 295 songs I wrote it for tune.
Which means writing is at its creative best, because you are not only curtailed with the situation, you are curtailed with the tune as well.
And adding to that are dubbing movies, where from Hindi movies or Telugu movies where you have to also match the lip sync.
Lip sync for non-techno guys. Pa 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 ma. These are the alphabets where the lip closes. For the rest of it, lip is open. Lip is open. So, can be up, up. So you have to fill lip is open with two words where there are twice the lip can close. One pa, ba, ba, ma. Anything.
It's an engineering problem, man. That's how I see lyrics. That's how I see. I actually, every time I get a lyric, I convert it to a mathematical problem. What are all the constraints? It's an optimization problem. What I have to maximize? I have to maximize romance. I have to.
தனியா பேசக்கூடாது உங்களோட யாராவது கன்வர்ஸ் பண்ணா தான் வெளில வருது சரக்கு. Now tell me, ax squared plus bx plus c.
I recently worked on a song with this similar formula where it's a movie called Katti, starring Vijay. We worked on a song called Palam. That song we have 4 different bridges. A bridge from a bridge X, let's call it bridge X, from A to B, and A is one shore and B is the other shore. That's what X connects. And what are the materials? Y and Z are the materials that we use to construct this bridge. Now I have to define all these A, X, Y, Z, A and B 4 times, like 4 sets of this, 4 different bridges. One bridge is called the love between 2 hearts, and another bridge is. So we convert these things to formula, and then at times it helps actually. So using algebra for lyric writing.
Creativity. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that deserves it. That definitely deserves. I would never have thought that mathematics, which is an exact science, and lyric writing, which is the realm of fantasy, are so related. Thank you. Sushi, would you like to share your?
I've spoken to him.
No, because you are the most creative person because you have been writing for newspapers. I mean, magazines and newspapers. Who is there who is a better actor than Arnab Goswami today? Somebody name one person. Who else will be able to attract 3 Pakistani army men to come on his panel and be shot down? Each fellow saying, no, Mr. Goswami, I am trying to, no, please answer me this question. See, I am trying to, no, you are, I am trying to tell you, no, you are not. No, I am, you cannot. You see, tell me this, why? No, but you see, you asked me then. Because he's asked him some 78 questions before the first 30 minutes is over. In the end, he will conclude and say, I told you, you don't have an answer. Amazing, isn't it? And look at those guys. It must be absolute blithering idiots to come on that program. Daily, there's one naval officer, retired major somebody, or retired admiral somebody. Every evening he's coming and getting shot. I can imagine doing it once. एक बार किया वाला, then गलती हो गया. You should run, no? He's there every evening. क्या? बच्चा डालो गोली. Creative people. So Sushi, tell me.
Delighted to be here because I'm a great fan of short stories. And I think this is a great way to encourage people to write stories, because in our time there was nothing called a website. I think people had to knock at publishers' doors, magazines' doors, and then not find a medium to express themselves. So I think readomania is a great idea. But short stories, what is a short story? It's really a compact form of literature. You talk to any author, any famous novelist, everybody will tell you short story is the most difficult form of literature to write. And you talk to any publisher, they say short stories don't sell. I've never understood that concept, because I think short stories are wonderful. I mean, you get a collection of short stories, you dip into them, you read 2 a day, you keep the book aside, read after a week. And each story is so, what's the word I want? It gives one idea. Sometimes short stories has many characters, sometimes short stories are just one character. And we've all grown up on short stories. One of the first things we read Aesop's tales, Panchatantra stories. And what is Mahabharata? In fact, Mohan and I were having this argument. I said Mahabharata is a collection of short stories. He didn't quite agree, but I see it as really a collection of short stories, because it's really, we really don't know whether Mahabharata had one author or, there are many things which were added on, which came on later, which were written earlier. And most of us were brought up on Enid Blyton, and first thing we read were naughty short stories, and then we moved on. Then we met, all of us read Somerset Maugham. I find almost all the authors liking O. Henry, who possibly got the short story format perfect. But every author, if you see, I have to confess that I'm a great fan of crime fiction. So even Agatha Christie has written short stories, which are wonderful. I don't know how many of you, I don't know whether you generation read Agatha Christie at all, but they're all, you read them, you really know how to construct a story. So I think, now of course, you know, my most favorite short story writer who won the Nobel last year is Alice Munro. So from pure entertainment, time pass to great literature, short story lends itself to everything. So I just want to wish, I've just dipped into it, I haven't been able to read the entire collection, but I think it's amazing. I mean, as Deepti said, there's romance, there is horror, there is fantasy, there is magic realism, all kinds of things. So I really wish all the authors all the best, and I wish Readomania my very best. Thank you.
Parents knew each other, and one day she suddenly said, "Why don't you speak at the Madras Week?" I said, "Okay." And then I started developing topics, etc. And then she said, "You develop topics to speak, why don't you write?" Write? Yeah. You know so much about A, B, C, D, E. Write. So from then, all my contributions, she put me onto the people in the Hindu. She wasn't working in the Hindu then. So she put me on, and even to this day, till last week, the article which went out on K.R. Ramasamy, the first, it goes to Sushi, who will vet it. And since we know each other so well, she'll say, "Mohan, you are being too trite about these things, remove all that." Now I'll say, "But that is the soul." No, that's not the soul. This is the soul, retain this and throw that out. So before the Hindu puts its axe on anything I write, Sushi puts her axe. So there are 3 versions of the same article in my desktop. Version 1 is what I wrote, version 2 is what Sushi wrote, and version 3 is what the Hindu published. I still have all 3. Because I know I've been planning that one day I will get a collection of all these. I keep writing on personalities, film personalities, sometimes on film concepts. So want to get the whole thing together and maybe give it to Readomania to publish. But Sushi hacks a 1400 word article to 800 words with absolutely little or no mercy. How much it takes to write 600 words? And she said, "No, I know you know about K.R. Ramasamy or Balaya or Nagesh. I know you know everything about them. You don't have to vomit the whole lot. The Hindu will not be interested." So she does that. But then for a book I need 1400 words. So I retain version 1. So Sushi is a great snipper of words, and as I said, since our association spans God knows what, 50 plus years. Yeah, I'm 58. I must have been 7 or 8 when we first met. It's okay. Thanks, Sushi, for being what you are.